Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Welcome in, everybody. David Nuño here on a glorious Wednesday morning. He's Olin Buchanan, and we're talking football and basketball this morning. Good morning, Olin.
Good morning.
It is a good morning.
Well, you know, they're
That's
all
your line.
good. They're all good.
Yeah. So this week
Yeah.
could really be a huge week for Aggie basketball, like huge.
I know this is a defeatist attitude, and I should never say this, but I'd take 1-1.
Heck yeah, you take 1-1. But if you go 2-0.
Oh, if you go 2-0, you're going to win the SEC championship, I believe. But I would take 1-1. But yeah, if they can win tonight against Alabama on the road, that would be another quad one win. And I think they're 35 right now in the net rankings. That might boost you into the top 30.
Yeah.
And it would ensure that you'll stay in first place for at least a week or so. But, you know, that would be one of your, you know what, would it be your best win of the year if you win? I think it would.
So far.
So far. Even though Texas did beat Alabama, but I still think beating Alabama, especially on the road, beat Texas on the road, but I still think beating Alabama would be a better win.
From a basketball perspective, would be a better win. And part of the reason is I believe Alabama is playing below expectations. A&M is playing above expectations.
Yeah, and you know Alabama's added Bediako to
Control the
improve
paint.
their presence down low. He didn't play, I don't think, against Texas. Now they're 1-2. I mean, yeah, 1-2 with him playing. But he's a good player. He's not a great player, but he's a very good player, and he's
a professional player.
So yeah, right. So the more he plays with them, you know, the better they're going to get.
Yeah, they're a very good three-point shooting
Even though I think
team.
this might be his last game he plays.
Yeah, I think the hearing's coming up on the 6th, I believe.
Figures.
But this is a very good three-point shooting team.
Yeah, it is.
This is a team that scores in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, so is A&M. And oh, by the way, so was Georgia.
Right. Yeah. I believe I looked up the numbers yesterday. Alabama averages 12.5 3-point goals a game. A&M averages 11.5. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be another fun one. Hopefully it goes the way the Georgia game does. I don't think you're going to expect to see A&M win by 15 tonight. I'll take a 1-point win, right? But I'm sure it's going to be very exciting. Bucky McMillan going back to Alabama. Rylan Griffin going back to play his team he played for a couple of years. So a lot of subplots in it. You know, of course, the Bediako deal. So
NATO's very complimentary of A&M. How can you not be? But
Right.
he basically said, I'm paraphrasing here, if we don't bring our game, they're going to run us, right? So he was very complimentary of the system and the intensity that A&M plays at.
Right. Everybody should be. You just said it. You know, why wouldn't you be? A&M picked 13th in the SEC, and now they're leading the SEC almost halfway through the schedule. So you better be complimentary of them, or like you said, you may get run if you're not ready.
Potential areas to pay attention to from an Alabama perspective. We talked about the 3-point shooting. Aiden Holloway is looks like 45.2% from deep. SEC opponents, he's shooting almost 47%. Latrell Wright self 41 from deep, and Liberian Philon, is that how you say it? Philon,
I guess.
Philon, 37.8%.
Yeah, they can shoot it. And then again, their weakness was their inside game, and they bolstered that through the courts. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard. You knew it was going to be a hard game.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be. And A&M doesn't have to play bad teams to win. They can beat good teams. They proved that by beating Auburn. They proved that by beating Georgia. They beat Texas. So it's another challenge. But you know what? Anytime you're on the road, you look at it as a game that, it's unlikely, average-wise, usually the home team wins, especially if they're good.
Yeah.
And so, that makes it even greater challenge to overcome.
Something our good friend Tom Schuberth, who will join us here in about 25 minutes or so, said in his article, another reason the Tide have not been successful is that they are not controlling the boards as they did in past seasons. With the addition of Bediako, that could improve.
It will. You don't want, you got to do whatever you can to limit him. Big active guy, but you know what? A&M has been facing big active guys routinely, and very often. I think you tell me if I'm wrong on this. If you can remember, the only team that's really just obliterated them, dominated them on the boards, or even that's being a little bit too exaggerate, but has beaten them on the boards badly was Tennessee. Right? I think everybody else has been, you may not win, you may not have more rebounds, but the difference isn't that great.
Yeah, Tennessee was different, but that's also a game that you should have won.
You should have won. When you're at the free throw line in the last minute with a chance to put it away,
you put it away.
You should win.
Yeah.
And you didn't, but nobody's perfect.
Hey, I want to bring up we're going to do some football at 8:20, but I want to bring up a football topic before we go around. You see your boy Lincoln Riley?
That guy's such a clown. I'm embarrassed that he's from Texas. I'm not really. He should be embarrassed. He said something about, hey, now what's happening?
All parts of the country are now playing players.
Does the name Reggie Bush ring a bell?
No, it doesn't ring a bell at all. From his same school.
USC, and he's such a clown.
He is a clown. I'm just asking. You're a football historian. Did other programs beyond USC and the SEC pay players?
Yes, they do, and always have. And like I just mentioned, Reggie Bush got the Heisman taken away from him because he was given a house. SMU couldn't play for a whole year because they were paying out $500 and $200.
Yep.
Reggie Bush got a house in Southern California.
He had a house.
And it was like a 2-story, 3 or 4 bedroom house. What was that going for in Southern California?
Back then, okay, so that's what, 20 years ago, 21 years ago? I'm going to assume $1 million?
Yeah.
Back then, so now like $5 million?
I mean, you're going to talk about other teams playing players when your guy in your own school just, not that long ago was given a house. And that's just, you think that's all he got?
No, he got a little bit more.
I mean, it's stupid. He's such a clown. I thought the lowest he could get was that ridiculous brisket that he tried to pass off. Like, hey, look at it. And it looked like a catcher's mitt.
It
was so dry. It looked nothing like you'll get at 1775. But we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later, yeah.
But, yeah, he's just Lincoln Riley. What a mule shoe.
Yep.
Mule shoe.
But why make that comment? Like,
would a mule be considered an ass like a donkey's an ass? Is a mule an ass?
A mule's an ass.
Well, there you go. He's an ass from mule shoe.
So he, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know I'm not, he coached at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Did they also get in trouble back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, of course, now they're SEC, but the fact of the matter was when they were paying Rhett Bomar not to, Yeah, and they've done it forever. Yes, he was at. Yes, that was at Oklahoma, and you can go on and on. He's just such a.
Does it depend on the messenger? You think if Dabo says that, does it hit the same nerve? I'm sure if Marcus Freeman says it because he is Notre Dame, you'd probably say
Notre
yes.
Dame pays too. I think anybody that says something like that is going to get ridiculed, and you're going to roll your eyes because, again, that's not limited to one area. But, yeah, when it's Lincoln Riley and you consider he's been at Oklahoma, how many times has Oklahoma been on probation?
To his point, though, OB, and I do think it has leveled the playing field in the fact that now that it's out in the open, more people are more willing to invest in their program. For instance, I don't know if Mark Cuban is going to invest in that program as much if it were all undercover. Maybe he would. I don't know. Maybe he was doing it before. I'm just using him as an example with Indiana.
Yeah, because I think some guys want the publicity.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm excited about my team. Like, it's not that I'm not saying these guys contributed money before, but like you look at the NCAA basketball tournament, and when your team starts doing well, suddenly people you never knew went to that school. Hey, because I want to get on the bandwagon. And if I'm a billionaire, if I give a couple $1 million, that hurts them less than me taking a 20 out of my wallet, right? So, people are talking about Mark Cuban again for reasons other than him being stupid and saying dumb things about women, like he did a couple of years ago. But I think that's part of it. Hey, now I can get some credit for actually doing something. I can get in the news. But does it even the playing field? Yeah, it does. But I don't know. I think what it does more than anything is the way it evens the playing field is teams like Alabama and Georgia that were so dominant in the past, even Ohio State, cannot just stockpile depth.
Yeah.
Because why am I going to sit and watch
when I can
make X amount when I can make more money and actually play?
I agree with that 1,000%. I also think that the COVID year, I think also leveled the playing field significantly because what you can have is these middle tier programs or bad programs adding these men to their roster the last couple of years. Now I know, but this is it, right? There's no more COVID eligibility.
Allegedly, they always find a new rule to let somebody play, but
I do think that played a big part. Like Indiana's story, I think that played a part in their story.
Well, yeah, 2020 was. It's like it didn't count toward anybody's eligibility. Now we're in 26. Well, even in 25, it shouldn't have mattered, but somehow for some guys it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that should be completely over. Now they're coming up with other reasons.
Well, NIL also, I don't know why I said it like that. NIL also allows older players to not think about going pro right away.
I think you're a really smart guy. If you're not sure where you're going to get drafted, or if you know that you're not going to get drafted like in the first 3 rounds.
Yep.
Let's say if you're a 4th or 5th round pick, you'll probably make the team, but you may not. But if I know that I can come back and make money, you know what bothers me about that though? I was thinking about that this morning. If a kid is offered like $500,000 to play,
yep.
A lot of them think, well, $500,000, that's a slap in the face. I'm like, what? Are you out of your mind? What job do you think you're going to get 10 years from now that's going to pay you $500,000?
You're not.
Probably not.
Right.
The very few will, and it won't, unless you're a great player, it won't have anything to do with sports. But right. To your point, like if I'm a player they tell me, look, you're probably going to be 5th, 6th, or 7th round. I'm thinking, of course, they all believe if I just work this much harder,
I'll be a 3rd round.
And I always say, why not? If your university is going to offer you, between $500,000 and $1 million to come back, why don't you bank that money? I mean, that's money, and then the NFL still. Then you work to improve your draft status, and then the NFL is still going to be there. And if you don't make it, if you didn't make that year, you're probably going to make it the year before. But at least you have that money Yes, absolutely.
It's TexAgs Live.
It's TexAgs Live, and it's brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers.
In the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason, Jackson, Keith, and Morgan. And the boys, probably some women out there, too.
There's definitely women out there. And this hour has a name. We labeled it
The Go Hour.
Presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. We are hanging out in a place that I call the Holistic
Planning Cool Zone.
Kind of did a different one on you. I did the holistic part, and I just stopped.
Okay, yeah, was some good planning.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you want to be a part of the conversation, multiple ways, or two main ways to do it. You can do it on the YouTube page, the TexAgs Premium Chat, but you can call us up on the
Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline.
That number is 979
693 1150. They said in unison.
Yep. And if you want to text us, you can text us on the
Catalyst
Pure Performance Energy
PPE
text line 979 693 1150. We go around the room. Left to right behind the glass is the director, Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you?
I'm good. I know we don't bank on it on Wednesdays or Tuesdays whenever Aggie basketball plays, but I'm gonna give you a bank on it. All right, I'm gonna bank on Ruben Dominguez having his best shooting game in the past 5. Right, he kind of had that slump, quote unquote, for him, which is like, would have been fantastic last year. But anyways, I'm gonna count on him. I'm gonna bank on him. Let's go 5. I want 5 3-pointers from Ruben Dominguez. Yeah,
That's
and an Aggie win.
Texts.
I think it's 15 points everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah. Because he's gonna get some free throws in there too, and he's probably gonna get
a 19-point performance.
Let's go for 20.
All right, 20. We'll go with 20. And he's your second leading scorer.
Hopefully. Hopefully if he scores 20, I want him to be the 4th leading scorer.
That'd be best.
That won't happen, but I would hope for
the easiest bank on it would be a Rashawn Agee double-double.
Yeah.
That doesn't even count anymore. It's like, you brush your teeth in the morning? Most of us do.
Is the sky blue?
Some days. It's the weather.
Most days.
Not all the time.
It's sometimes kind of gray.
Yeah. Like the other day, it was gray.
Yeah.
It was cold
Today,
too.
I think it might be blue, though.
Might be.
Yeah.
Let's
Hopefully, the Alabama fans will be blue after this game tonight.
Let's hope. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Kayla Gaither is there writing all day softball content. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you guys?
Good. We have a great softball guest coming in today.
I'm so excited for Trisha Ford to come in. She's amazing, and I'm excited to hear what she has to say.
What do you have for us this morning?
I actually want to go back to what Nate Oates was saying about Texas A&M.
Okay.
In his press conference yesterday, he said their whole system is based on playing hard and giving max effort. I told our guys it's perfect because if we don't fix what we have to fix, we're going to get dominated again at home. So I don't know if I think our team is perfect, but I do think they have every asset to go into Tuscaloosa and break down the Tide.
The way they play, I think, is what he's saying is like that's a perfect recipe for them to come here and kick our butt.
Well, then I hope they play perfectly and do so.
Yeah, and I hope Alabama plays poorly.
I think Alabama, didn't they last time out get just stomped by Florida?
That sounds correct.
Like 100-77 or something like that.
They'll be ready.
Yeah, they will, but maybe that's a symptom. Of course, Florida's really huge.
Florida's starting to play like Florida.
I mean, they're really huge in the front court, and A&M's not. But A&M always finds a way to compensate.
Yeah, the compensators.
The compensators.
The winning and compensating.
Yeah, and you know what? Like we said before, even though A&M's not on paper looks like a team that should rebound well, they're typically right there on the boards with their opponent.
What they do is they dictate the pace and the tempo. And
they're dictators.
Okay, I don't know if that's as good.
And compensators.
The dictating compensators.
Compensating, dictating, and hopefully celebrating.
I like the way you roll there, OB. What else do you have for us, Kelly?
So softball tomorrow has their opening day. We're opening with a doubleheader. We're playing ACU at 4:30 and then Utah State at 7. And this weekend we have a really big matchup. On Saturday, we are playing Texas Tech, who is tied for the #1 team in the country. So everybody should come to softball. It's going to be a great game, and it'll be a good test for the Aggies on opening weekend.
Is that $1 million pitcher still at Texas Tech?
I don't think so. Is she? Do we know?
Yeah, she's still there.
Oh, she is still there. Okay.
Okay.
And according to Kay Nagley, they have added another $1 million pitcher.
So they got a $2 million pitching.
Would they pay the Go Hour $1 million and talk well about them for about 15 minutes. I mean, if Cody Campbell's got that money, why not?
Hey, Cody, I'll say all kinds of nice things about you. You know what I'd say about Cody Campbell if he'd pay me $1 million? I'd say when it comes to being a booster, a college sports booster, he is elite. Much like the barbecue at 1775 is elite.
See that? Do they do tutorials for people like Dry Fit Lincoln?
I don't think they do, but
he could learn a thing or two.
Oh, he could learn a thing or two. He could first of all see what brisket is supposed to be like. Not like that burnt mess that he tried to pass off as that he's actually bragging about. You want to see some brisket to brag about? You go to 1775. I told you yesterday about the brisket sandwich that my wife ordered. Mm-hmm. Best brisket sandwich I've ever had. I guarantee. I'm not lying. I'm not saying I'm not getting paid. Cody Campbell, though, we can work something out. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's elite.
It's so big.
It's big and tall.
It's hard to do it, right?
Yeah, it's like the brisket sandwich version of Florida's front court.
Oh yeah,
big, elite. I don't know if Florida's tasty.
I think I'm just going to move on from that. It's 1775 is the place to go.
They got a lot of beef down there.
Yeah, they're thick. Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until they're sold out. 979-492-6241. It is 1775.
And it's good.
I'm Wes Mangan, and I live on a piece of property with my wife and 2 boys and several animals. I work in oil and gas, and I travel a lot, and so when I come home, it's like my sanctuary. I get to see Lauren and the boys, and it's been just a perfect fit for us, and it's really improved our family time. And this is the first land I'd ever purchased, so dealing with the land side of things and dealing with Capital Farm Credit was super easy for us through the whole process. I definitely feel like with Capital Farm Credit, together we are better.
As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza. And, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. OB, the CFP announced dates for the sites and the quarterfinal and semifinal games for 2026 and 2027. It's going to be the latest title game date in college football history.
I don't like it.
They also move away from New Year's Eve to avoid conflict with NFL games. And
I thought it was because they just wanted to party on New Year's Eve. No, they just don't want to have to play against a.
They don't want to go against the A&M.
No.
Well, and how does that affect A&M? A&M, was it an 11 a.m. game, a noon game against Miami?
Noon, I think. I don't know.
Okay, it was 11 a.m.
It was
or noon.
early.
It was early, right? And it was the marquee game because it was the only game not up against
Right.
anything. And we all don't think of 11 a.m. or noon as a marquee game. Now, I do understand that gave you the ability for the most eyeballs because you didn't have competition. I recognize that. But I think a marquee game is the 7 o'clock game or the 6:30 slot, correct?
Yeah. I mean, normally, but again, like you mentioned, they knew that there was going to be NFL games later that day.
Yep.
And so they figure, well, nobody's going to be watching. Not that many people are going to watch, what was it, Tulane and Ole Miss and Oregon and James Madison?
Correct.
So we're going to lose to the NFL anyway. So let's lose to them with the games that fewer people are going to watch. It made sense, but we'd all much rather play it later in the day.
I don't like that the national championship is going to be basically significantly later. January 26th is what I think I read here.
I think so, yeah.
So, it's going to keep getting pushed back is what it feels like, as opposed to what it should be doing. It's getting closer to New Year's Day.
I'm thinking, let's say the...
they did 27 as well, by the way.
Let's say the conference championship games are on the 7th, right?
Yep.
Then play 2 weeks later, play the first round of the playoffs. 2 weeks after that, play the second round, and then they're going to go like 10 days later for the championship game. Or why do you even have to wait 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Why can't you just play a week later?
You got to give them time to prepare and get their bodies right. But that doesn't happen during the regular season.
Right. So, I don't know. Seems to me that let's say, do we know what day the championship game was on this year? The conference championship games? It was like the 4th. So if it was the 4th, so you're playing the first round the 18th.
Right.
And then maybe the next one you wait 10 days.
Was it Pate who wanted to do the conference championships? Maybe I'm wrong about this, on Thanksgiving weekend?
Yeah, because he's trying to move everything
back.
And look, A&M gets, and I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but they had 2 open dates. Take out an open date.
Yeah.
You move everything up.
Get 2 weeks right there. You start the season a week earlier, take out one of the open dates. That's 2 weeks.
I mean, every one of those guys want to play in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And the NFL is going to have a 17-game regular season and 1 bye week. And with a roster of about, 45 players or something like that? I can't remember how many they have now, 50? I don't know. But they don't have, 80-something plus walk-ons for 100. Now it's not even that. It's like 100 players.
Right.
So just eliminate one of the bye weeks. Maybe even start a week earlier. They always have like 0 week. Make that week 1.
For everybody.
And then you get finished earlier. And I mean, it's not that hard, but it's typical of college athletics is they take something that's not that hard and make it harder than it
They make it harder. Yeah. Well, because there's nobody in charge.
And everybody's out looking out.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Nobody's looking at what's best for college football as a whole. They're saying what's best for the SEC, what's best for the Big Ten, what's best for the Big 12.
Organizations, people, churches, athletic teams, I think they're usually only as good as their leadership.
Yeah, typically.
Like, you have to have strong leadership for sustainability, in my opinion, in any walk of life, right? And strong leadership trickles down, and you can't just have 1,000 cooks in the kitchen. It just doesn't work.
But somehow,
it's for efficiency.
College sports is such a great product that it succeeds in spite of itself.
That's correct.
So yes, if you had great leadership, strong leadership, intelligent leadership with just common sense, think about it, just how much better it could be.
Yep. All right, we're going to hit a break. We'll come back. Tom Schuberth going to join us. We'll go over there. We were hanging out at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
The Cool Zone travels, but this is pretty cool.
It's got a lot of aura, as the kids say. Daily Company, they're a family-owned, licensed, and insured business that offers expert HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and generator services, and that is available to you 24/7. So whether you need repairs, maintenance, or installation, they've got you covered. They handle everything from HVAC issues like thermostat repairs, refrigerant leaks, and furnace failures to seasonal tune-ups, and get your system running efficiently. Their plumbing team fixes leaked and clogged drains and installs water heaters, plus they offer maintenance to keep your pipes in the top shape. They offer electrical expert services, including wiring, the outlet repairs, the upgrades for your safety and efficiency. And when it comes to generators, they offer repair, maintenance, and installation to keep you prepared for any power outage. They serve Bryan College Station, Houston, and Austin with upfront prices and no surprises. Contact the Daily Company at 979-260-2020. That's 979-260-2020, or visit them online at godaily.com to experience the daily difference. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations, David O.B. And now Tom Schuberth, the coach, joining us to break down a little A&M and Alabama. We're having a nice conversation about the Bediaco. I say it with an accent because he's Italian. He's not. But about
he's the Canadian.
Is he? Actually,
yeah, he's from
Canada. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But we're talking, do you think, because I don't, but do you think if the NCAA, you said they were going to make a statement, right? You think they're going to have to forfeit these games? Because I don't think they should if a judge comes in and says, hey, we're going to allow it for right now.
Sure, I don't think they'll make them forfeit the games. I mean, if they did, it wouldn't surprise me because that's the NCAA. You know, they make some of the weirdest decisions in the world. But at the same time, it probably won't affect Alabama getting in the NCAA tournament. So, you take a few games off your record. I still think they'll be rewarded and get in the tournament. So at the end of the day, that's what they're concerned about. But the fact that he's playing, I don't have a problem with that because a lot of schools have gone to the court system and overruled the NCAA, and they just draw it out, and then eventually that ruling may come down and he was declared ineligible or it wasn't favorable for that team. But the season's over and they got what they wanted.
Right.
So I don't blame Alabama for what they did because I think other schools are doing it as well as maybe it's not just.
Well, who else has brought back a guy that signed an NBA contract and had a two-way deal? And was
Baylor did it first, and UCLA's got a guy that's played in the NBA.
But he's not with them yet, is he?
No, he's not. I don't think he's played yet. Right, and I think he'll get granted.
And the Baylor guy is playing?
Yes. Oh, Baylor's playing.
And see, I disagree with that, too.
That's the first one that got started, and that's when all the coaches came out and started complaining. And so, to credit to Nate Oates, he's just doing what everybody else is doing. And again, I mean, he's obviously a great player and could make a difference in their team. But with or without him, they're going to have a good program. So I think after this ruling, it was at Friday, I believe, is when it's
February 6th is when I think it is. Yeah.
So you'll know more, but
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But when I was pushed on it yesterday, I was asked on the chat, why don't I don't like it? It's because if people go back to college all the time, and I just feel like once you graduate from a level to the next level, you can't go back to that level, right? And that's how I see it. Like when you become a lawyer, you don't go back to law school. You go do something else.
Great point. And the other thing, the argument is the college players in the U.S., they made the decision to give up their eligibility and go professional.
Right.
Where the Europeans or people outside of the U.S., it doesn't have to be Europeans, that maybe were being paid to play their sport, they never, had a choice. They just started playing. But I always thought college was amateur athletics. I mean, I know over the years, players have generated income in a lot of different ways, whether it was legal or illegal. But I don't like the fact that professionals are playing in college athletics, and I still think you'd have a wonderful product if you eliminated anybody that's ever been paid to play, and particularly in the team sports, the revenue-producing sports. I understand the individual sports, the tennis and those kind, golf, that may be a little different. But the team sports that generate revenue, I don't think professionals should be allowed to play, and I still think you'd have a wonderful product. That's just my opinion. Obi?
I think that, first of all, I kind of agree that there should not be a different rules for the Europeans, right? Frankly, I get in trouble here. I don't think Europeans or people from out of the United States should get scholarships. I don't. I think it takes away a scholarship, because unless it's a private school. If you're getting government funding, not to your athletic department, just to your school, every scholarship you give to a foreign player takes away one from an American kid. All right, that's just that. But I don't think that there should be a different set of rules for the professionals from Europe, and that includes Dominguez, which I'm glad he's on our team, and the professionals here. But there is rules in place, so either change the rule, but I don't think it's right to manipulate the rule and find a judge that's going to be on your side, who's an Alabama booster, a big Alabama booster, say, hey, we're going to file this in Tuscaloosa, of course, so we can get it, so this guy can play because, hey, we've got a problem. Like, what? I don't think he had any eligibility left. But what if A&M said, "Man, we sure could use Anderson Garcia again"?
Yeah.
Well, how's it going in wherever you're playing? Well, come on back. I don't think you should be using failed professional players as a farm system to come in and boost your team, especially when the season's already started. I mean, do you get to go and sign somebody? Hey, we got to, go in the transfer portal right now. Hey, I'm on a transfer portal. Yeah, but we don't have a transfer portal window. Well, then I'm going to find a judge that'll say you can go in.
Right.
So to use a local judge to manipulate the rules, I think is just wrong. And I agree with you. He's probably going to be. There's a good chance he's going to be ruled ineligible come Friday. A good chance. I'm not saying he will be, but there's a good chance. I agree with you. They'll probably won't do anything. They'll just, take him off. Every game that he played, now obviously they've lost 2 of them, but the game I can't remember who they beat, but they did beat somebody.
I know they lost to Florida and Tennessee.
Right. They lost Florida, then they won 1 game. I can't remember. Was it Georgia? Missouri. I think that they should have to forfeit that game. If he said, no, this is ineligible, obviously you were working the system, you should be ineligible. It's the same way that sometimes in the past we've seen guys that have had football players that were deemed ineligible. Oh, now you're having to, they vacated the win.
Do you think whatever happens from this, can actually spark change to where maybe a year from now or 2 years from now, they're like, all right, we've got to reevaluate what we consider college athletes, and moving forward, we're not going to have the Europeans that have played professional, and we're not going to have G Leaguers. Could that come from this because of the loopholes that coaches are finding?
I think they're more. I'm sorry, but I think they're more likely to change the rules regarding the Europeans than they will regarding guys going pro, going into the draft, and then trying to come back. That's just what I'm guessing. What do you think?
I agree. I think they'll make the statement because they know it needs to be fixed, and this is an easy step right now. And then you mentioned the forfeit games. Let's say they win or lose today. It's either going to be two wins or 1 win that they're going to take away from them if they declare them ineligible and they take away the games they've won. So I don't think that's a big deal. But I think everybody's aware, unless you have your head in the sand, that college athletics needs to be fixed, particularly football and basketball, in my opinion. And I don't know of anybody that says it's a good formula right now. It went from one extreme to the other, and like we talked about it, a coach was losing his job because he made too many phone calls to a recruit. You brought an extra player on a visit when they went to have a team meal, and you could lose your job. I mean, and now they're paying guys millions of dollars to play a sport, the team sport. It doesn't make any sense.
Bruce Pearl was basically couldn't coach for 4 or 5 years because a kid showed up at his house for a barbecue.
Yeah,
and he wasn't the only one there, but Bruce said no, he didn't. And of course, we all know had he said yes, he did. If he fessed up to it, it would have been a slap on the wrist.
Right.
But still, you lose several years of being able to coach, and yet now, hey, there's no rules at all.
There isn't any rules. Yeah.
Look, we should be talking about the Bama game. We'll do that in the next segment. But I am curious, next time I talk to Bronny in studio, I'm going to ask him what he thinks baseball-wise. Like, this year, are we going to see teams call up minor league baseball players or maybe major leaguers that aren't playing and trying to get them back? Are we going to see that this year?
I would love to see Abden Aschenbach back in the bullpen. And Brandon, 2 years ago, the guy that went to the White Sox, his mom.
Braden Montgomery?
Braden Montgomery.
Yeah. So,
bring him back.
Yeah, bring him back. Jace, you want to come back too? Like all of it. All right, let's hit a break. We're talking about Rollo Insurance. If you're a family-owned agency dialed into TexAgs, Rollo's doing amazing work, guys, and they're helping small agencies keep up with the slow-motion corporate takeover of the insurance industry. We're talking tech, markets, education, succession planning. They're all big challenges. But if you go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, you can listen to Keith and Jackson's commentary right here in the studio not long ago. At Rollo Insurance, Aggies are doing great work to help out other Aggies. And when you're looking for insurance, that's the place to go. Their headquarters is right here in College Station on Highway 6. 60 offices in the great state of Texas. Call them up. 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. We're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Tom Schuberth joining us here to close out the Go Hour. All right, the game, okay? How does A&M beat Alabama, a team that plays very similarly to A&M, at least from an offensive, like they shoot a lot of threes, they hit a lot of threes, they're bigger. They're actually not a great rebounding team, but they rebound more than A&M does.
Correct. Well, Alabama's last game, they lost 100-77 to Florida. Mm-hmm. Florida only made three-pointers in the entire game, turned the ball over only twice, and turned Alabama over 17 times. So to answer that question, I would say we have to turn them over, and then we have to take care of the basketball. Don't necessarily have to shoot a great percentage. Again, Alabama does a good job of not giving up a lot of threes because they get out and pressure you, try to run you off the line. But I think if Texas A&M doesn't turn the ball over, gets their variety of shots, good looks, then they have a chance to beat them because Alabama is very similar to buckyball and that they're going to keep doing what they do regardless if it's working or not. They don't get away from it. Right. And that's one thing that I've been amazed about buckyball is that he continues to do it even in bad times, those bad stretches, but he finds that 5 or 10 minute spurt where he makes up for all that bad play and comes back and is competitive in the ballgame or wins it.
Bediako, we talked about, but he adds something to a big piece to what Alabama was missing. And yet, with the exception of Tennessee, I think nobody's just dominated A&M on the boards. How is that when your tallest player is 6'8" that plays significant minutes?
That's the question I want to know, Owen. What bothers me is that if I was playing against Texas A&M, the fight pressure in the backcourt, I would only try to do it with one guard because A&M always puts a guy on the ball, and then they guard the other guys and try to face guard, push them to the corner, and then they'll get the rotation and their run and jump and try to trap. So maybe get one guard there, advance the ball into the half court, and then continue to make the extra pass until you get the shot you want, particularly trying to get inside touches because of the interior. That's what A&M does in the half court. They push it, but if they don't have a good shot, they're driving it. They don't have a good shot, they drive it again. They're giving people this medicine that people should be doing to them. I think Bucky would tell you the more passes an offense makes against their defense because they're constantly scrambling and they're small and they just got to get after it, it hurts them. Yeah. So no one's done it yet with the exception of maybe Tennessee. They did in the second half there when they fought back and got the ball inside. But I'm interested to see when someone does that if A&M can still come out victorious.
A&M, I believe, is undefeated when they score 90+. Both of these teams score 90+. So does it come down to who doesn't score 90+?
That'd be a great question. I want to see how well the ball is shot tonight. If a lot of threes are made or if it's going to be one of those games where second and third shots give you a chance to win and getting to the foul line. Both teams shoot great free throws, and A&M's shooting them at an amazing rate, the last three games where I think it's in the 90s if I'm not mistaken. So if you can get to the free throw line against Alabama, you can beat them as well. They have deficiencies. In years past when they played the same way, they were dominant on the boards, especially the offensive boards. They got second and third opportunities, and that's what's really given them a lot of success.
Anybody come to mind right off the top of your head that you say, if A&M's going to pull this one off, this guy, they're going to need this guy or these guys. Somebody is really going to have to do something that maybe they don't necessarily always do.
Well, our players, I would like to see, I think I heard you guys talking about Dominguez. I'd like to see him. When teams kind of press you and allow you to get in transition, that to me is how Dominguez is going to have to get shots against really good defensive teams because they're not leaving him open. It's not he's shooting the ball poorly. He's just not getting those great looks that he got in the early season. And you'd be idiotic to let him. But I think he could have a good game tonight because of the up and down, and they lose him in transition.
So if they're guarding him hard, and you always got to have somebody on Aggie, where are you looking? If they're guarding Dominguez hard.
Isaac has really been impressive to me.
Yeah.
And I think, we were critical of him. I don't mean it
early on.
Yes. Yeah. And, in defense of him, I never realized, it was about, 13, 11, 12 months of not playing. And you could see him getting his confidence and then also him accepting the way Bucky Ball plays. So he can probably have a great game tonight.
Tom, appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
You guys. Enjoyed it.
Obi, great job, buddy.
All right, thanks.
All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back on TexAgs Live, we're talking to John Harris. We're talking Super Bowl. We are talking NFL Draft. We're talking upcoming Combine here in a month. All that and much, much more. You're listening to the world-famous TexAgs Live presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the program. We start our hour with the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. John Harris, dear friend of mine, dear friend of the show, footballtakeover.com, and Houston Texans sideline reporter. Johnny, good morning, buddy.
Good morning, David. How you doing?
Good, man. What do you think about this quarterback matchup in the Super Bowl? Drake May and Sam Darnold.
I wish it were Sam Darnold and somebody else, but
yeah.
That somebody else didn't have a great game at New England. And, very rarely, you know this, David, I know I'm one of those people that I never will tell you, oh, one thing lost the game. This ref's a call. This official's call lost the game. They lost the call because of this one thing. And there were some contributing factors outside of CJ's tough play, difficult afternoon against the Patriots. Woody fumbled for the first time all year in the red zone. And, the Patriots made 3 tremendous catches for touchdowns. But very rarely have I ever watched the game and gone, one guy, one position cost the Texans an opportunity to go to the AFC Championship game. So it was a tough afternoon. I like this matchup with Sam and Drake, but Drake has not played exceptionally well. And I know Patriots fans want to bristle at, well, look, the Patriots haven't really played anybody. Well, he beat the Chargers, top 5 defense. He beat the Texans, the number 1 defense. He beat the Broncos, the number 2 defense. Yeah, it's all well and good, but he didn't play well in those games. They won those games because, A, defensively against the Chargers, that Patriots defense was on it all night, and Justin Herbert wasn't going to do anything against them. And then they won the game against us because we turned the ball over 5 times. And they beat the Broncos because Jarrett Stidham threw that ball away, giving them an easy touchdown. And they had one drive that gave them a 10-7 lead. And that was it. So I don't know that Drake has played exceptionally well. And I think of the teams that I saw this year, and I felt like I saw the 2 best divisions. I saw the NFC West and the AFC West up close. I think Seattle's the best football team. In fact, I would go so far as to say Seattle's the most complete football team that I have seen in a number of years. And I think Seattle, as long as Sam doesn't, just stays within himself, takes his shots when they're there, just lets Kenneth Walker run the football and lets his defense do its work against Drake May, I think the Seattle Seahawks walk out of there with a pretty convincing win.
I'm talking to John Harris here on TexAgs Live. Mike Vrabel, what's your opinion of him as a coach, and how much has he changed from his time at the Texans a long time ago? What was that, 2018, 2019, something like that?
Yeah, he left in 2018. He was there for 3 seasons as outside linebackers coach, and then took over as defensive coordinator. Unfortunately, the year that he was defensive coordinator, everybody died. Everybody was hurt. Everybody. It was a rough year because by the end of it, ironically, the only guy that actually played the full year was Jadeveon Clowney. But he lost Watt, lost Merciless, lost a number of other players. I remember going to that final game against the Colts in week 17 or whatever it was, and was like, who are these guys? And Vrabel got stuck with that as defense coordinator. But Vrabel's a tremendous head coach. I have the utmost respect for him as a leader, as a guy who finds ways to win with whatever he's given. I remember we went to Tennessee, taking over as the Titans coach in 2018. We had started 2018. We had 2 games on the road. We went to New England and lost a close ball game in New England. They would go on and win a championship that year, but we were kind of frustrated because we felt like we could play better. So we're going to Tennessee. They don't have Marcus Mariota. They don't have Taylor Lewan. They don't have their starting right tackle. They don't have one of their starting guards. And I'm like, we're going to crush these guys. We're going to put it on. Blaine Gabbert's going to beat us today. Hell no. And I'll be damned. They came up with a game plan with Wildcat Derrick Henry, with a fake punt that worked, and they just pieced it together. And even though Will Fuller went off, we couldn't put the final nail in the coffin. They beat us 2017. And I remember flying home from that game thinking, what the hell just happened? And I remember thinking we got Vrabeled. But I think the best one that tells the story about Vrabel is we went in 2020. We went to Nashville, And it was a back and forth. I mean, it was a tremendous game. It was a COVID season. And we had just won our first game against the Jags a week earlier. Thought, okay, well, maybe we get hot. Maybe we go upset Tennessee. And we had them on the ropes. And late in the game, we had a 2nd and 1. We ran for 9 yards. We had a 2nd and 1. And Vrabel grabbed Jonathan Joseph and he threw him on the field. And it gave the Titans 12 guys. And I remember at the time thinking, 12-man penalty, automatic first down. Here we go. I realized later that Vrabel did it on purpose so that we wouldn't run more time to get a first down. Because we could have run 2nd down. We could have run 3rd down. We could have burned a minute and a half off the clock and gone for it on 4th down and gotten it. And we would have, killed a minute and a half off the clock. I was like, that was brilliant by Vrabel. We end up scoring. We missed the 2. They come down. Now they've got a minute and 15 and a timeout. And Tannehill drives them all the way down the field. A.J. Brown makes a catch with 2 seconds left to tie the game going overtime. Of course, they got the ball in overtime, and Derrick Henry went off. There's no way that game should have even been a win for the Titans, but Vrabel found a way. And that, I think, is the other thing the Seahawks have to be cognizant of. If this thing is close in the 4th quarter, Vrabel and his guys stretch become very big factors in this game because of the way they can manage the clock, the way they manage the game. Vrabel is brilliant doing that. And they got to make sure that it's got to be Vrabel proof in the 4th quarter. They got to have a couple touchdown lead to really kind of salt it away and take Vrabel out as an important factor in the 4th quarter.
Johnny, do you think, I know the NFLPA recently said that they have no appetite for an 18th game, but are we going to get an 18th game?
Yep, it's coming. It's coming. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, the players can say they don't want it, but I know the players, they want 17 games. And guess what they got? They got 17 games. There will be, I mean, it's a negotiation, of course. And so the owners have said, we want 18 games. We want an extra game. We want an extra regular season game where the players are trying and it's not a preseason game where, it's back of the roster guys. Now, me, I love preseason games. I get to call them for TV. So I would hate to lose another game, but I see I get it. If we're going to play 20 games, let's play 18 that matter, I guess. But I can tell you this, the players by week 17, or I should say week 18. Week 18, that last week, they are cooked. It takes them a little while to kind of rejuvenate and get ready for the playoffs the following week. That's why that bye becomes so big. But we're going 18 games. It's just a matter of what will the players get back in a negotiation for the 18th game. Will they get a larger percentage of the pie? Will they get stock in Amazon from Jeff Bezos? What will the NFL players get in return for an 18th game? And that'll be an interesting negotiation. Now, the NFLPA president said, no, we don't want 18 games. Well, they didn't want 16 games back in the day. They didn't want a 17th game, and look where we are. So we're going 18 games, and I think that's where it stops. But there's so much money involved in this, and that's what it becomes. It just becomes a negotiation. So, yeah, we're going 18. It's just a matter of when. And then how? Does that 18th game become a complete international slate? Do they get 16 games of international football all on one weekend? I don't know how you kind of put all that together, but I do think that's something that they will try and do with that 18th game, that everybody's going to play an international game to make sure that all 32 teams, there's fairness involved. But then again, I don't know how you equate a trip to Australia to play a game with a game that's played in Mexico City or a game that's played in London. I mean, those are 3 different international trips. But that said, we're going to 18. It's just a matter of when. I don't think it's next year. I don't even think it's going to end up being 27. I think it might be 28 at the earliest that we get to 18. But we're getting there. We'll go there.
So, Johnny, let me just kind of map out what it looks like then. What does the NFL schedule look like? And this comes on the heels of college football saying that they're going to have their national championship game next year, I think January 26th. Everything keeps getting pushed back in college football to closer to February. I remember when the Super Bowl was significantly earlier. What's going to happen to all these schedules?
Yeah, college has got to think this thing through. And I'm not just saying this because I'm in the NFL. College has got to push this thing up. I mean, I don't know the right way of saying this, but I feel like college football loses some of the momentum because the NFL is playing every week when there is a gap in games from the SEC championship or championship weekend to the next weekend. Okay, you get the, Love is Great Boca Raton Bowl. It's all right. I mean, it's great. Sickos like us will watch, but there's a large audience that just checks out. But you know who's playing that weekend? The Bears and Packers. And they're putting up an all-timer. And they're putting up a 34 million viewer rating. Well, college football doesn't need to be caught with a weekend of divisional playoff round football that is just tremendous. And then, oh yeah, by the way, on Monday night, when everybody's kind of gassed out, that's when they're going to play their national championship game. I think college has got to really kind of go back. And maybe at that point, what do they say? Don't fight the NFL, work with them. And I don't think college is doing that. I don't think college is fighting with the NFL. The NFL isn't going to move, but, maybe you can get to a point where it's like, hey, can we have this Saturday to play our divisional playoff round games? Or, hey, can you guys play one game on Saturday at noon and then we'll play our games later that night? But I just feel like the college schedule, and I know that, academics and all that, well, the semester starts here and then it's a trimester here and a quadmester over here. Like, you know what? Play every damn weekend college football until you're done January 10th. Don't take this to January 26th. That is absolutely ignorant and stupid. No offense, but it's ignorant and stupid.
Talking to John Harris here on TexAgs Live. All right, Johnny, Sam Leavitt, is that a good fit for LSU?
Well, I think one of the things Lane Kiffin has shown over the years, because he's now been around, is he's taken different quarterbacks and had success with different types of quarterbacks. I wasn't totally sure how he would work with Jackson Dart, like how that would go, but he did a pretty good job of that. His days going back to Alabama, he had all kinds of different quarterbacks. I don't think any of them were good, to be honest. But he had experience with quarterbacks. And I want to say Jalen Hurts may have played for him the first year he was in Alabama. So point being, Sam is wildly talented. If Garrett Nussmeier is a 6, Sam's an 8.5. Sam can make every throw on the field. He's got plus arm strength. He is uber confident. Like he is bordering on, I'm the best quarterback in the planet, NFL or college. Like he thinks that way, which is cool because he backs it up a lot of the times, but he's electric out of the pocket. I mean, he's closer to Jaden Daniels than he is Garrett Nussmeier, if I'm being honest. So I think with Lane's offense, I think Sam Leavitt is going to be a big time hit. I know A&M fans are like, well, I don't like hearing that, John. Yeah, sorry. He's good. Sam Leavitt is wildly talented. Now, I stress the wildly part because there are times he does play a little bit of YOLO football. Now, some of that was because it's surrounded by Arizona State. Wasn't always, great, especially this past year. Offensive line, other than Max Iannaccio or right tackle, they weren't very good. But Sam Leavitt does some things from a quarterback standpoint that not all of the quarterbacks on this planet can make. So I think Sam Leavitt, LSU, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to have a lot of talent around him. I think Sam Leavitt is going to be a problem at LSU with Lane Kiffin for sure.
What kind of NFL player do you think Torian York could be? Do you see an NFL future for him?
Here's what Torian's fighting, and it has nothing to do. And I hate even saying this, but I know how this league works, and I know how people are in this league. And that is Torian's shorter, he's smaller, he doesn't look the part from that standpoint. When you put up his measurables against other linebackers, not even in his class, but just already in the league, you realize he's one of the less size gifted players, there is. So a GM goes in and the scouting staff goes in and they're convinced Torian York can play. Torian gets there for whatever reason. They draft Torian in the 4th round and it doesn't work for whatever reason. Injuries, just the wrong fit in system, never can get momentum. Coaching isn't great, whatever the case might be. And the owner, and trust me, the owners ask about this stuff. The owners turn and say, well, hey, why did we draft him when you knew that he was in the 1% of 1% of size guys in the league? Meanwhile, that guy over at BYU, who's 6'3", 240, who most people knew couldn't play coming out of college, but he went to the right situation and played much better. You didn't draft him. What the hell, dude? That's what Torian's up against. He is up against perception. And I think Torian can play in this league. I think he's smart. I think he's fast. He's physical. I think he is going to end up, for me, being a top 80 player, top 75 player, because I know what he can do as a football player. But if you have an owner and ownership, and in some cases GMs may not draft a guy because they don't like the measurables. Scouts might be banging the table going, yo, Bruce, you got to get this guy. Like, he's going to fit for our defense. No. When has a 5'10", 5'11", 230-pound linebacker ever worked in the NFL? We're not doing it. And then they get passed down and passed down, passed down. Torian York gets in the right situation in the NFL. He's going to end up being a player for a while. Terrell Bernard was that way with Baylor. Terrell Bernard was a former safety, moved to linebacker. Now, he was taller. He's 6'1". He's about 215 pounds. And everybody's like, he can't play in the NFL at that. You can't be a player at that. There's no way. He ends up in Buffalo. And he ends up being a player for Buffalo. And a really, really good one. So you have to look past that when you're looking at Torian. And there are some GMs that won't. There are some teams that won't. They have size parameters for each position. He's going to fall outside those size parameters, and he's going to end up going to San Francisco, and he's going to be a player. He's going to end up being, early 4th round pick for the Texans, and he eventually takes over one of the spots on the inside for us. That's what's going to happen. So the joy for Torian on draft weekend probably, hey, man, these guys, I'm better than these linebackers. He's going to have to watch that on draft weekend. It's going to happen. And he's just going to have to say, but I'm going to end up being better in the long run than all of them. Take a page from Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown can write down all 16 wide receivers that were drafted in front of him for whatever reason. And Amon-Ra St. Brown goes to the Pro Bowl every single year. Play with that chip on his shoulder, and Torian York will be just fine.
Johnny Harris, thank you, buddy. Appreciate. Hey, what's on footballtakeover.com right now?
I just dropped. In fact, I'm going to today is going to be my updated running back rankings. Probably tonight. I got to finish that up a little bit. I'm editing. It's taking a little while, but I'll get there. So my updated running back rankings are going up. My number 1 overall player in the draft class scouting report is up at footballtakeover.com. And it's not who everybody would probably think it is. It is not a Big Ten quarterback. It is a Big 12 edge rusher. I've got a scouting report written up. I'm convinced he's the best player in this draft.
Johnny, great stuff as always. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Love you, bro. Talk to you soon.
Love you, man. That's my guy, John Harris, here on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with Pat Henry, talk a little track and field. Let's talk about Heritage Films. If you know your dad's story really well, can you tell it to me? Like if I were to call you, play a game, I call you, tell me your dad's whole story. You probably can tell me a lot of it. I can tell you a lot of my dad's story. I can tell you, very clear thoughts from growing up. But I can't tell you the clarity that my dad can tell his story because he lived it, right? And that's why we did a Heritage Film, to know all about his time growing up in 1930, by the way. My dad's still with us. He's 95, but was born in 1930. Escaped Cuba in the 60s. Met my mom in Houston. She's also Cuban. Left Cuba as well. And, how he met my mom, how the family was started, how he became an awesome civil engineer in Houston, how the first house that they bought, the whole story, right? And with so much clarity and so much stuff that we can share with our kids in the future. And that's what a Heritage Film does. It's a 2-hour documentary about your family. You should honor your family, especially the future family you don't even know yet, so they know the entire family story. And you can do that with a 2-hour documentary done by Heritage Films and Chance McClain. Call them up, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341, or visit yourheritagefilm.com. That is yourheritagefilm.com. Now we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Typically, when we have Pat Henry here in studio, that is brought to you by our good friends at the Brazos Running Company. From running shoes to Aggie pajamas, this Aggie family's got you covered. Visit Brazos Running Company in Century Square, or you can shop Mason Hay at masonhay.com for your PJs. All right, we go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Kayla Gaither, you told me something that I did not know. I went first last name on you, by the way. When was the Pro Bowl?
So the Pro Bowl was last night. I don't know if anybody actually knew that.
Yeah. Nick, did you know that?
Well, yeah, I actually did, but I didn't watch.
But why is it on a Tuesday? Explain that to me. What's the? I'm gonna Google that. Is Googling still a thing?
Googling is a thing. I don't know why it was played last night. I know it wasn't advertised very much, and also there's a really weird stat line surrounding the Pro Bowl. 2 quarterbacks from the Cleveland Browns were in the AFC Pro Bowl list, Shedeur Sanders and Joe Flacco, which I don't think has ever happened.
I thought you were about to say 2 people watched.
Oh, well, maybe 2 people watched. I mean, I watched the tail end of it just because I was going to sleep. And it helped.
Joe Flacco's 41 years old. How old is Shedeur? 22, probably?
Probably 22.
So Flacco could be his dad.
Pretty much, yeah. He's 23.
And they were teammates for part of the year.
They were, yes. Interesting.
Very interesting. By the way, I did Google. The Pro Bowl, moved to a Tuesday night as a part of a major revamp to make it a kickoff event for Super Bowl week.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a kickoff that is.
More like a kick in the pants.
Pretty much.
Kick in the junk. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Another stat line also, Myles Garrett was nominated for his 7th Pro Bowl, but he opted out. And he's opted out every year since 2023 because he actually dislocated his big toe during one of the Pro Bowl skills games and has never gone back.
I did not know that. Part of the reason I did not know that is I haven't watched the Pro Bowl since whenever.
2009.
There you go. You remembered yesterday's episode.
But yeah, I'm also going to transition over here. I mean, Pro Bowl talk is fun, but
no, it's not. Actually, I want to tell you that I may put an outlaw. We may never do Pro Bowl talk again unless an Aggie's involved.
No more Pro Bowl. Well, we do have an Aggie involved in the Winter Olympics, so I kind of want to talk about it.
Please do.
For the first time in history, we have an Aggie in the Winter Olympics, and his name is Boone Niederhofer. He was a former walk-on wide receiver, and he is competing in bobsledding for Team USA. He caught Kyle Allen's first passing touchdown on September 6th, 2014, with 8 minutes, 33 seconds left in the 4th quarter against Lamar.
So those who don't know, we had Boone on the show last week. It was an awesome interview. Go to texags.com. If you're a premium subscriber, I believe it's on there for premium subscribers, and you can watch that whole interview. I think we talked for like 19 minutes. I was I don't want to say blown away. I didn't ever stopped and thought about like, how does a dude become a bobsledder?
Yeah, I've never known how they recruit people for bobsledding.
They like athletes.
Yes, they do like athletes. I think if you're really quick, you have to be really speedy and like tuck in really tight. So maybe quick, speedy, short athletes that can really be aerodynamic.
I asked him about that. He was talking about one of his teammates, not somebody who's on his, what is it? It's not called a capsule. Nick, do you remember what he called it? Is it a capsule? I don't know what it's called.
A sled?
It's more, it's a bobsled. But it has a different name. He called it like the tube, I don't know. He didn't call it a sled. Whatever he called it, he said one of his teammates, I believe he said was like 6'8".
Whoa.
I may have made that part up. But it was like beyond tall.
Yeah.
Whatever beyond tall means to you. I believe he said that on the interview. Somebody can fact check me and make fun of me for getting the exact word. Yes, he definitely said it. He said, you got some small dudes, you got some big dudes, and you both got to fit in this capsule.
Absolutely.
Did he call it a bob?
He did not call it a bob.
Okay.
That's
what Google's telling me.
No. Have the interns in the back go through the transcripts of that one. They'll find whatever. And at some point, when we don't care about this topic anymore, we can bring it back up.
That's how it always works.
Yeah.
When I Google stuff y'all talk about all the time, and I'm like, well, they're about 30 seconds past it now. It doesn't matter.
They don't care anymore. They've moved on. But yeah, I'd like to know. He called it something. A capsule, a boat. I don't know what he called it. He called it something.
It says on Google, this is for women's events, so I don't know if this is right, but the single-person sleds used in women's events are known as the monobob. I don't know if that's the word he called it that.
I think he called. I mean, if he heard this commentary, he'd be like, "Thanks for paying attention."
Nagley, he said carbon fiber tube with no suspension.
Carbon fiber
His exact
tube.
words.
Wow.
That was his words?
Yes.
Okay, well, there we go.
Interesting.
That's exactly what I said. Capsule. That's basically the long version of capsule.
Capsule.
Didn't
yeah.
you guys know that? All right.
Interesting. Well, the opening ceremonies are on Friday, and I believe the events are happening, or the bobsledding events are happening on the 21st and 22nd. So
Awesome.
we'll be excited to watch that.
Go support and watch that interview again, and watch them in, carbon fiber
Tube with no suspension.
with no suspension.
Or
brake.
bobsled.
Or capsule.
Yeah, capsule. It's short for capsule. All right, when it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team. That right team is Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals, including 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise runs deep. And at Paragon, credentials do matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or call them up at 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. It's been too darn long. Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. David Nuño, Kay Nagley joining me for a softball talk with Trisha Ford. Everybody was so excited you were coming in the studio today. Everybody was talking about it. We missed you.
I know. It feels like I'm back into my normal routine.
Yeah.
I'm like with my people. We're in the studio talking softball.
So how do we feel here right before it all gets started?
Yeah, I feel like we're ready. We're ready to play. There's going to be some pieces that I know we have to address, but they're tired of scrimmaging each other. Our pitchers are tired of throwing to our hitters and vice versa. So, we have, I think we talked about this a little bit of, we only have KK. She's moved to, shortstop. KP's the only one that's in her actual position from last year. We have some new kids, one of them being Talon Edwards, who was a Gold Glove third baseman, playing second base. So I think we just have a lot of new parts that we have to mesh together. So that's why I feel like we're ready to play.
I want to talk about this non-conference schedule a little bit, because I was looking at last year's. Y'all played 22, 23 games, and y'all played 28 this year, and I was like, okay. So an uptick in games, also the competition, very, very good. You played Duke, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, UCLA. So just kind of talk about the scheduling aspect of that and why it was important for you to have these top 10, top 15 games.
Yeah, thanks to Coach Harger. So we always say this at the beginning of the year. So either I'm going to love them or hate them by the end of the year. But I think for us, especially with our new faces and just us trying to mesh, it was important for us to play some road games against some tough opponents. Obviously, having some tough opponents here at Davis Diamond, because you need them to be in that environment. The whole reason why we went to Texas this fall is we play at Texas during conference. So I think that was important for us, is to continue the push of elevating this program. I told you guys that when I took over, I want us to be a perennial top 10 program that's always competing for a championship. And so in order to do that, you have to learn how to beat the best of the best. And that's why we schedule hard.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to look that far. The national championship volleyball team had a very hard non-conference. It worked out for them.
Yeah.
This weekend, you've got some ties to some players and teams coming in. You also got Texas Tech coming in. So a great start to the season.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited. I know it's kind of a full circle moment. So many of you guys know that I have a senior daughter who plays softball at a high level, and we have Maddie Sani on our team who played with Emma growing up, and then on Utah State there's several players. So it's kind of a different view for me of like being able to coach against kids that you coached when they were 10, 11 years old. And obviously we have Tech coming in, ACU, Bryant, Providence. So we're really excited. We're excited about the level of ball. I'm really excited to kind of be able to sit back and be like, okay, we did a really good job in that area. We need to address this area. That tactical piece, I'm interested. And I'm interested to see our young arms throw, to be honest with you, and see how they handle, lineups and the lefties and the righties and, flat swings and ground ball swings. So I think those are the things that I'm interested to get going.
I want to talk about Maya Perez a little bit, because obviously standout season last year. She hit 424. It's hard to deny that. But
is that pretty good?
Yeah, I would think so. And coming from her freshman year, just the jump that she had. So this season, how does she, I don't know if get better is the word, but maybe just maintain that consistency she saw last year?
Yeah, our biggest talk to her has been staying consistent. And what I mean by that is she's going to get pitched differently now this year. That she's going to have to, people are going to have to establish themselves around her in order for teams to really pitch to her. So she has to be smarter, if I'm being honest, and understand to take your walks when you need to take your walks, not put too much pressure that she has to hit a home run every time. Even though last year I felt like, Maya's about to hit a home run, those are going to come. So I think for her, it's maturing in the box would be really what we've been, Coach Harger has been harping on her, is maturing in the box. She is incredible. And hopefully one time you guys will be able to get her maybe in the studio or talking to her.
She's coming in here later for an NIL interview, actually.
Okay,
so.
yeah. Talk to her about her process. Like, she writes down every at-bat after she does it, what it looks like. She's very honest with herself. So she'll say, like, I chased, I don't need to chase, or, I should have squared up that pitch. It's just, I think kids, players that can have very healthy, constructive conversations with themselves about what's going on in the box and where their headspace is at, they're really they're successful. And so that's what I'm really excited about Maya, is to see that next layer of can she mature and understand what that looks like going into this season.
That sounded so awesome to me. Writing notes after every at bat. It sounds like somebody I know that writes everything he does in life about everything. Anyway, his fitness, his eating, everything. As I move on.
As we move on, yeah.
How was it a long off season? Short off season? Like, how would you like?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure like you were ready to start work right away.
Yeah.
But you probably also needed time. There were so many success stories from last year. You probably needed some time as well.
Yeah. Last year took a while to kind of work through. And there was so much good, and it just didn't end the way that any of us had really planned. And so I think for me, it was processing through the positive, because I always go to the negative, and that's very easy to do. So, I think there's some areas that I just didn't do a great job, and you have to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, we need to address X, Y, and Z. And we have this year. I think, there's just some things that we do different at practice and how we're training that I feel like will put us in a better spot at the end of the year. But I also think with all the newness, like all the new positions, and we really had to coach. We don't have Allie Enright in center field, Kramer Eschte, in the outfield, Coco, at shortstop. I was texting with her earlier this week because in this tournament that we were playing in last year, there was a pop fly that KP hit to deep center, and she tagged up at first base and went to third base. And I'm like, you just forget how dynamic that kid really is. And she's like, I miss it, and you don't have Emily Kennedy. And so you just, you take for granted sometimes, unfortunately, as a coach, of just that leadership and just the competitiveness. And so we have that. It just looks different this year. And I would say our team is really, really close and, clicking. And so I'm excited to see what this year kind of looks and feels like.
It's got to be exciting, too, to be able to mold it. I mean, you miss what you had for sure, but you also can mold this into the new version.
Absolutely. And we're moving in a good direction. Like, as each year I feel like that I've been here, it's like, okay, we're getting a little bit better in this and a little bit better in, that area. So that part is, good to just to go through it and work through.
You spoke about your infield a little bit, but yesterday in media availability, you kind of said outfield, little bit of a competition happening there. So what is it that's going to ultimately just win over those positions in your mind?
Yeah. Well, if you hit, I'm the pitching coach. So if you hit and we score runs, you're going to play. So I think really it's just time. It's time of getting them used to those different positions, who reacts or, their routes are better out in left field or center field or, any one of those spots. And I think that's going to be the key. And you might see, we alluded to it yesterday, of just some defensive replacements, or maybe certain parts of the games or certain parts of the lineup. We might have somebody go out there and really address some areas that I think that we need to. So I think there'll be some moving parts, but I think we'll settle in. Yeah.
From a pitching staff standpoint, I think I heard that you're planning on pitching.
Everybody.
There's going to be a lot of arms, right?
Yeah.
Is that just to shorten some of the workload early on? Is it to get more looks? What's your strategy behind that?
Yeah, I think that's who we are. So that's who Texas A&M softball under me is going to be. Is I want us to have the ability to, when you play a conference opponent 3 times over and over and over, you have to have different looks and a different way to beat them. And so that, to me, the variety, the variability in your pitching lineup has to be one of the high things, because again, you're facing them over and over and over. So I think we have some really special arms that I think are just young, and we get Peters back. She was hurt most of the year last year. Lessentine has had a really good fall, and I'm excited about her. We have Taylor Pennell that came in from Missouri. That kid, part of me is so excited she's here, and part of me is bummed that she hasn't been in Aggieland longer, you know? And then obviously we have Grace Sparks, Kate Munnerlin. Kate, came in some big situations last year and continues. So now we have 2 really high-level lefty options. We have up, we have down. We have Taylor Brown now this year as well. So I don't know. I'm just really excited to be able to mix and match and see how they can come in. And, those pressure points, meaning you come in and you have these 3 batters to address, and then you're out. And see, that's a different type of skill set that we're going to push this year.
KP yesterday talked about the team's slogan or theme being never out of the fight. And I really feel like that kind of fit last year as well.
Yeah.
Like there was just multiple games y'all won in so many different ways that. So can you kind of just talk about that mentality? And it seems like that's been kind of common, like under teams that you've had here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that is like kind of who we are, you know? We were like that at ASU, we were like that at Fresno State, of just, you're not out of anything until it's done. And so you go down swinging. I think that's kind of our staff. If you know, Coach Heff and Coach Harger, like you look at them and talk to them, that's exactly who they are. And that's a good life skill. And that's what we really have talked a lot about this year, is just when you take on something really hard, you do it to your full potential, but you do it swinging. I mean, you go down and you got to be calculated and you have to, you know, be able to articulate yourself, but you make sure that you go down with everything you have. And so a lot of times kids, you know, players don't do that. And then we end up turning the table. And that's another good life lesson for them to understand is, even when you think, like I think of wrestling, I'm going off on a tangent, but like wrestlers, like they're down, they're getting pinned, they got, you know, everybody trying to rip their hair off, their skin off, and they figure out how to get out of it, right? And how to get back on top. And that's what I feel like the game of life is like, even when you're pinned down, can you figure out how to get back up on top?
What do you how do you quantify success in an opening week? Like, obviously wins are the ultimate barometer, but like, are there certain things you're trying to see?
Yeah, I think it's executing our game plan. And I say this, like, it's not really coach speak, but it's getting good pitches to hit, making good decisions, playing clean defense, pitching. We're wanting to try to get action within that 3 to 4 pitch. You know, we definitely don't want to go 7 pitches deep, you know, and counts. And so for me, it's just some of those things. That's where we at when things that we know make us successful or make any softball program successful. Our communication on the field is something that we've harped really hard on this year. And so it's going to be those things. It's like when we insert player X into this situation, what does that look like? Kind of like we were just talking about. When we put a pitcher in this situation, can she come in and execute right away? And there's going to be some moments where I think yes, and there's going to be some moments where, okay, we got to address that.
How much are you looking forward to some of these newcomers just being able to rock maroon and white, be in front of the 12th man and really experience
I can't wait for the bubbles, I'll be honest with you. I think just Davis Diamond Aggieland is the 12th man. It's just special, and you just don't understand it until you come out to a game and understand. In every venue, to be honest with you, I think every venue, what the 12th man has done a great job of is every venue has a similar feel, but a different experience. And I think for us this weekend, there's going to be some nerves, but they're also excited. I'm always excited to put the product out in front of the 12th man and be able to say like, hey, this is what we've been working really hard for.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. Do we know what the weather's like this weekend?
70.
Perfect.
Yes.
Everybody
Great.
come out.
That's what I said. I watch that closely. I'm a warm weather girl.
Well, I mean, it's been ridiculous the last couple of weeks. It's been dumb.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Well, we've missed you. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We'll be supporting you this week, all right?
All right, let's
Thank
go.
you. That is the great Trisha Ford here on TexAgs Live. We'll hit a break. We will do Around Aggieland next on the program.
And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Kaylee Dreyer, Around Aggieland. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
What's up with you?
Oh, not much. There's a lot going on in Aggieland, though.
Did you watch the Pro Bowl?
I did, actually.
God, you're such a dork.
I was watching it on my phone
football.
when Kay was watching a movie. I mean, I had to see all my Texans players.
Oh, how many were in it?
I think 5.
And CJ got a haircut?
Played. Yeah, he looks a lot better.
Yeah, was it? Now, because it was all over social media that he got it. Was it because he was like people were talking bad about his hair? I mean, it was time for a change. For the record,
I think everyone was saying that he had that haircut in high school and beginning of college, and he was like a great player. So they think that he's gonna magically be a lot.
Yeah,
better
it's all about the hair. Yeah, it's all about the hair. What do you have for us?
Yeah, so there's a lot to be excited about in Aggieland. The vibes are totally up. Aggie basketball obviously plays tonight. They're 7-1 in the SEC, and they play Bama tonight. Aggie baseball opens their season in 9 days, and Aggie softball, as we just heard from Coach Ford, they open their season tomorrow with the doubleheader, and they play the #1 team in the country on Saturday, so that'll be exciting. And continuing on with baseball, the number 25 ranked Texas A&M baseball team, they host a free scrimmage on Saturday at Olson with the first pitch at 1 p.m. And if you can't catch them, then be sure to be out there for opening day on February 13th as they face Tennessee Tech here at home. And then speaking of some preseason awards, Chris Hakopian and Nico Partito were named to the Baseball America's preseason National Award watch list as Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year. The Aggies also had a nation best tying 4 players selected to Baseball America's preseason All-America team, those being Caden Sorrell, Gavin Grahovac, Chris Hakopian, and Shane Sadeo. And then moving to basketball, Texas A&M forward Rashawn Agee was named SEC Men's Basketball Player of the Week. He had 18 points, 15 rebounds, and a career-high 7 assists against Georgia. And we hope to see him do just that tonight against Alabama. And then last thing I have, Aaron Pounds of Aggie Men's Golf led their team and finished 7 under 135, which tied him for first place after 36 holes, which helped the Aggie Men's Golf team finish in 3rd at the Seabass Best Invitational.
Well, is that how you say it? Seabass Invitational?
It's Seabest.
Seabest. Seabass is better.
Seabass, yeah.
I'm more of a Seabass guy. Thank you very much, Kaylee. Appreciate you. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I'm sure we got a comment or two to get into. Kayla, what do you have for us?
Let's see. Well, we have a comment about the pitching for A&M softball.
Mm-hmm.
I know Coach Ford was talking about Sydney Peters and Sydney Lessentine. I'm really excited to see Taylor Pinnell.
She's the career saved.
Yes,
yeah, she leads college softball in
career saves.
Yeah.
She has 24. And I'm really excited to see her play in maroon and white. And I'm really excited to see how dynamic the pitching core is because, I mean, we don't have Emily Kennedy, but I think a lot of our sophomores are going to step up this year.
Yeah, I liked when I asked her about, like, you're going to pitch a lot of arms. She was like, that's what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And the reason I like that is because when they had Emily Kennedy there, they pitched a lot of arms still, but, like, you knew Emily Kennedy was out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe they have a lot of belief in Sydney Peters and Lessentine and the whole crew. But I think we're going to see a lot more of it, especially starting off this weekend.
Yeah, Trisha Ford actually calls Sydney Peters and Sydney Lessentine the S-squared duo. So I'm excited to see them, trickle in with everybody.
When we come back, Jason Howell, going to chit-chat with him about recruiting country and I'm sure something random. It's next.
We are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I believe we're waiting on Jason Howell for Recruiting Country. And speaking of Recruiting Country, let me tell you a little bit about American Momentum Bank, the only privately owned bank headquartered in Bryan, College Station. American Momentum Bank is committed to helping our community prosper by offering you a wide array of personal and business banking solutions specifically designed to help build financial success with confidence and momentum on your side. Speaking of confidence and momentum, this gentleman we're about to put on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline has got a lot of confidence and momentum. He has figured out AI. The picture you sent me yesterday, let me see if I can find it and like describe it. It looked like professionally done. He sent me a picture of himself getting ready for Recruiting Country, AI'd, with a little, I wish you could see, like, I don't know if you could see that.
Send it to me, David. Send it.
What's that, buddy?
Send it to me.
You want me to send it to you?
If Jason's okay with it, I'll put it on air.
Yeah,
put it. I sent it. I thought it might be funny.
What app did you use for that?
That was, I just saw everybody doing the caricature thing on ChatGPT. Put in your name or just ask it what it knows about you and your job, and then put in a few little prompts and send in a little selfie. I was wearing a red shirt, my white beard looking like Santa Claus. Got the big, I thought you'd like the nice big beautiful smile as you like to call it.
You're a happy guy.
And it was I dove in head first on the AI front yesterday and decided to give it a try. It came out pretty good.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty fair.
Yeah. And I sent it to Nick's phone. I probably should have sent it to his email so it would be easier to get it up on the board. But we'll get to that here in a second once he downloads it. You sent me some notes, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't know where this is going, but you did a wild disco night. Oh, there he is. There's Disco Jason.
Yeah. So it was Christine's 50th birthday, and we had a disco night celebration. Her friends threw it together, and we were able to secretly bring in my stepdaughter Myra from New York City to surprise her at the party. It was just a fun night celebrating. I got to dress up. You see my little costume there. I had a fro that was going to go with this, but it got overruled by Christine, and the birthday girl gets what she wants. So I decided to nix that. But it was a whole get up, man. But a lot of fun with a lot of friends, and as you see, I look ridiculous.
What do you disco dance, buddy? Do you do a little Staying Alive? Do you shake it? What's up?
I mean, hey,
I don't know if don't shake it, by the way.
I wouldn't say I look good doing it, but in the right company, under the right influence, I might put it out there on the dance floor a little bit.
Okay, we're gonna do a group poll here. Nick, Jason, David. Last time you guys danced without alcohol?
Ooh.
Never. And I haven't had alcohol in 20 years, which tells you how long it's been since I've danced. Nick, you?
Probably my wedding, I would say.
No alcohol at your wedding?
No, I did, but it's not. I didn't overconsume, so it was voluntary.
I believe if you're a dude, and sorry for those who get mad at me, unless you have a real talent in that department, you're a really good dancer, you're a really good singer. You don't karaoke sober and you don't dance sober. I think those are rules written in the man book.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Now, I will do a little, I'll just call it the white boy shake and bake, a little back and forth, a little booty bump action there. But I'm not trying to do too much.
I think I'm going to move on from this topic. So I found out a couple things. I found out that yesterday was the Pro Bowl. Didn't have a clue. And National Signing Day?
Today
is National, we haven't talked about it at all. I don't see it on Twitter. I don't see it on X, the same thing. I don't see it anywhere.
Like,
you got to go hunting for it, but it's out there. Oklahoma, Texas, LSU with a few, additions to their classes today. A&M. It's been pretty quiet on the high school and JUCO recruiting front since December, when it comes to the 26 class, and everybody kind of transitioned to the portal. But yeah, it's today, and there's a lot of guys getting out there and doing some things. But yeah, Bronny wrote a little bit about it yesterday in the long form, and it was a great article talking about kind of, trying to hold on to some of that signing day nostalgia, though, as somebody who's been doing this for 20 years, man, that was the Super Bowl. And that was, there would be the big studio show at TexAgs. There would be, everybody's waiting for all the signatures to come in, maybe some late drama. And there has been since the early signing period really kicked off in 2018, you still see some of that, but definitely not to the degree that we used to. And really, the last the January signing day was Jimbo Fisher's first year in 2018. I think they had 8 new additions on signing day. But a lot of times you see the late drama occur when there is coaching change, when as a school you are going through a lot of that stuff. And that's we've seen it with A&M, and in 24 you had Terry Bussey and Ashton Bethel Roman who both signed in February. You had and you've had some big guys who decided to lay out and take a little bit more time. McKinley Jackson comes to mind in 2020, Shamar Stewart in 2022. But for the most part, the drama's done and everybody's moved on to the next class.
Jason, I feel like this week I've been the old man yelling at the clouds how it used to be when, professional athletes couldn't go play college sports.
Don't give me, yeah.
But I honestly, I miss the February signing day because, for years, there was a time that was the big signing day. And even when December started, there was still an emphasis in it. And I hate that we're getting away from, and maybe it's not the date, but I know we still do a big National Signing Day show. It's a huge deal, especially for Elko across the street, who puts a premium on that, right? But I hate
December, absolutely, yeah.
But the sport has moved away from, the industry, if you will, has moved away from it.
Yeah, the major emphasis is on December, and a lot of it is you see it with a lot of these guys enrolling in January too. So even if there was a February signing day, you would still have 99% of A&M's recruiting class on campus right now. They all but one guy is on campus, and he's playing basketball, and he's going to be in College Station real soon. But yeah, it's a deal where most of the high school recruits are positioning themselves to be enrolled early. But I'm with you. I'm holding on to it. I wish it was just right now. I wish it kind of was just December and just being but I think that's pretty much, even without the rule, it is pretty much viewed that way by the majority of people, where you pick up an odd and an end here and there, or somebody has a coaching change position wise or whatever, and they get out of a letter of intent they signed, and now they're looking for another option. But when you don't have the big shuffle, when you're A&M, you're done in December, and with the portal wrapped up mid-January, you're pretty much wrapped up there as well.
Is there fear that these professional athletes and I call them professionals, if you're making money at the G League, you're a professional athlete getting into college basketball, and I don't know if we're going to see that in college football, but I assume with the loophole, you'll probably see something. Is there fear what that's going to do to the high school experience of being recruited and what that feels like, and how National Signing Day even later on could have even less precedence?
Well, I don't know about that, just because, but I do fear what pros being able to come back and whatnot, what that really means to college athletics. I don't like it at all. Just because the precedent's been set. And if you can do it in basketball, why can't you do it in football, baseball, or anywhere else? I mean, it's a very slippery slope, and you better get control over it. And I don't even know where that starts, because the NCAA gets overruled if they do pass a rule that somewhat makes sense. Then it gets overruled. Somebody's puts a lawsuit out there, and it gets batted around and knocked down, and it doesn't really matter. So we got to get back to something that where there is some kind of rule of law and agreement with the schools that are playing high level, college athletics. And I don't know what that looks like, but I think eventually it's going to come down to the fans just saying this is enough, and forcing people to step up and go, okay, we got to get control of this. And I don't know what that looks like. I thought there's no way professional athletes can get involved in this. This is but yeah, well, I mean, what happens if Torian York doesn't get drafted, or somebody, just throwing that out there, somebody goes into the draft early, doesn't get drafted? I'll be honest, I would have no problem with that kind of player being able to go, okay, it's April. I've still been taking classes or whatever. I'm still eligible. I haven't taken the money or what. Well, it doesn't even matter there. But I haven't signed a contract. I'm coming back. Like, yeah. I get some of that, but I don't get that I've been a pro for 5 years and now it's time for me to move on from basketball. But hey, I never played college ball. Well, I'm gonna come back and give it a try. That sucks.
Jason, last thing about National Signing Day. Does the February date move the needle at all in recruiting rankings? Not that it really matters. I mean, as you mentioned, these like A&M's program was basically done in the middle of January. But does it move the needle?
I mean, you may have something here or there, very, very minutely. It's more the All-American games and things like that, and you may have some shuffling of, guys that are already signed and on campus and whatnot that get bumped here or there up the rankings just based off getting to see them in person against like competition, all that kind of stuff. I mean, we need to update do the final update of the 26 class for TexAgs. I guarantee you there will be maybe one or two moves towards the top, and that's about it. But overall, no, it doesn't really do much as far as the actual team rankings and all that stuff when it comes to recruiting.
As for A&M, their focus has been on the 27s for a while now.
Yes. Yes, and they have done a bang-up job. I think the transfer portal closed, and they had 2 junior days. I think the portal closed on the 16th, and then I think the 17th they had a junior day. So it was or elite day, because they had some very special, a couple very special 28 sophomores in town as well. But yeah, they've been moved on. 10 commits. You got All-American quarterback, played in 2 All-American games. You've got 2 very intriguing pieces on the offensive line, big guys that can move, athletic, and you've done a great job on defense in the secondary with a couple corners, couple safeties. I think all of these guys pretty much had an opportunity to play in one of the 3 All-American Bowls. And by 3, I'm talking Under Armour, the Navy Bowl, and then the Polynesian Bowl. And they had multiple targets in every single one of those games. So they've laid the groundwork and done a phenomenal job getting set up for the spring, for the ball to really get rolling when you're talking about spring practice visits and official visits coming up.
Are there some new offers that you want to kind of talk about over the last little bit?
Yeah, Jaden Nelson out of Langham Creek is one I definitely want to hit on. Big outside linebacker, edge guy, about 6'3", 210, 215. And he's really come on in January. He became a real hot target as his film started to make the rounds as far as in-state prospects. I think he was the only one in the last week or so, but you've seen just about everybody in the country jump in on him. He played everywhere from safety to, kind of that Cassius Howell role where he's coming off the edge and getting after the quarterback. And you see he's got a big build. He's got some really nice length, and he is a twitchy, bendy athlete there on the defense with a lot of instincts and athleticism. And he's a guy, when we redo the 27 rankings, you're going to see him come in. I know Bronny's been on him quite a bit, talked him up a good bit there out of the Houston area, and definitely a guy to keep an eye on as A&M is able to try and work their way in there and hopefully get him on campus this spring.
Anybody else we need to keep our eyes on that's kind of new?
I tell you what, there were a couple of of intriguing guys. I saw that A&M hit Cass Tech pretty hard, and it caught my attention because one of the few 28s to make it to campus was quarterback Donald Tabron, who is a multi-year starter he's a 2028 All-American out of Cass Tech, one of the great programs up there in the Michigan area and in the Midwest. They offered one of his top targets in Mylan Griggs, also in that 28 class, and his offensive tackle, 6'7", 280-pound, big frame, mean, nasty guy that's played both right and left tackle. Those caught my attention out there. I know they've been big in Lee County in Georgia as well, where one of their big 27 targets is Jaden Upshaw at receiver. He's out there, and then there's another big offensive lineman that they're talking to in the 27 class as well, talking about getting a visit on campus, Mr. Chantrez Dixon, and then they extend a few offers in the 28 class as well. So they're getting after some guys at some familiar high schools. So you can see some of those high school connections at work.
Jason Howell, we'll hit a break here, man. We'll finish out recruiting country here on the other side. Right now, we're talking about Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're looking for the right vehicle, start your search there. You can start it online and see what they have, but I think the entire experience when you're purchasing something from Caldwell Country Chevrolet, you're going to love it. They pride themselves on excellent customer service, and that is during your entire process. Anytime you deal with Caldwell Country Chevrolet, maybe you're a former client, a former customer, maybe you're a current customer, maybe you're thinking about it. I think the entire experience is always going to feel the same, refreshed with great people who are going to deliver everything that they promise to you. Complimentary oil change for life as long as you own that vehicle. They'll just take care of you during your process, and you're going to come away with great trade-in value, great pricing on your vehicle, and you're going to walk away very happy. 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com.
Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign. And they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
I'm talking to you, Jason Howell.
Oh, I can hear you now.
I know. I was just singing the song. Recruiting Country, brought to you by American Momentum Bank. He's Jason Howell. He's got opinions. He's got info, and he breaks things down here on the show. Something you sent me that I thought was interesting. College athletes not taking full advantage of college networking opportunities. So I want you to kind of expand on that. What does that mean?
Well, with these guys, when they transfer, for looking for playing time and all that. And I understand there is a segment that are being pushed out. It's not always a guy going, hey, I'm looking for a new opportunity. Sometimes it's a coach saying you may need to look for new opportunity. But guys that when I look at like the A&M network, the Aggie network, man, it's such a valuable piece to what A&M brings to the table. And when you have a guy that transfers after a couple years, just because maybe they're looking for some, a little extra playing time, or you see a guy bounce around to 3 or 4 schools, and we've seen that. It's about where's your alumni network? What have you really gained in all those years? You may have gained a few extra dollars and some playing time, but what about after school? Where can you go lay down roots? What school can you call home? And I think some of that gets lost in a lot of this stuff. Guys chasing after short-term glory and kind of forgetting about the next. Whether they say I'm making it's not a 4-year decision, it's a 40-year decision. It's you lose some of that when you go chasing. And granted, some of those choices aren't made by the college athletes themselves, but when you do see that hopping around, it really raises it raises some concern to me, and there's a lot of opportunity left on the table. Hopefully I painted that picture a little accurately there.
Yeah, I get it. And I think just typically when you're 18, I would say 18 to 22, but maybe a little bit younger, 18 to 21, you're not really thinking. You're thinking about the here and now. You're not thinking about the future oftentimes.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's also, I was blessed to have people that in my corner that, that could help me see the bigger picture. You know what I mean? But I get the money aspect and all that stuff. But there is I've talked to a number of athletes after they're done, and they're kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have that. And shoot, with a lot of these guys, it may not be a pro football career, but they may want to get into the college level. And if you burn some bridges making some bad choices, then you may find that pretty hard to do too, to get a good recommendation, catch on with somebody. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just something I've noticed in talking to different guys, more anecdotally, anecdotal evidence as opposed to the raw numbers. But yeah, that's just something that I've just noticed. I've seen some guys kind of, not really feel like they were able to really take advantage of in this day and age.
Jason, let's close up with something we kind of started with, but from just a different entrance point. High school recruiting is still a huge piece of the puzzle, and not just for A&M, but in general. I think that's, maybe I'm wrong here, I think that's what most college coaches want. And the way A&M does it is they go that route and they supplement with the transfer portal.
Yeah, absolutely. And shoot, just look at the roster and look at the depth chart and who you're going to be counting on next year. There's going to be a lot of guys that you've got from the that you've got from the high school ranks that you recruited and poured into. Those are a lot of times those are going to be your culture guys. Your Trey Zunes, your Torian Yorks. Those guys are going to set the tone, and you've got a lot of that in this roster coming up with, Marcel Reed, Ruben Owens, Terry Bussey, DJ Hicks. So you got a lot of those guys, and I'm not saying you don't want to focus on the transfer portal or whatever, but I think it's a new fun thing, and it is fun to talk about, and it's high paced, and it's definitely important to, like you said, especially go in and get a piece like an Isaiah Horton, or feel like what they've done on the offensive line and defensive line to help build that depth when you have a lot of young guys that you're hoping to push to make those next steps and see take those steps. But you definitely always need depth right there in the trenches. And to be able to shore up spots on your team, that's phenomenal. That's a great tool. But you always have to have those guys in your locker room that they know what it means, and Texas A&M is home or wherever. And I think that's what you see at programs across the country. And we've seen it where portal heavy teams fall apart when things don't go just the way the book was written, before the season. So it's always a huge thing to have those guys from the high school ranks and to make that your base. And A&M has done a phenomenal job under Mike Elko and in years previous with the portal of making sure the foundation is there, and you're doing your job to develop the guys that you have in your program and who've been in your program, and maintain those avenues.
Jason, I think it's really important, too, to close out that thought that Elko has already proven a proof of concept to where, hey, these are guys that we recruited, that we developed, and they did play. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they play a lot as a freshman. Sometimes you got to wait a while, but here's your path to play. And when they can prove that, it makes it easier to wait your turn.
Yeah, and shoot, you also see it in the portal where they do get guys who are going to be multiple year guys. Marcus Ratcliffe, Des Ricks, those guys really come to mind. Mario Craver, those are guys that they're going to be in your program for a few years, and they can help be part of that, and are definitely important. I don't want to undersell their value at all, because there's been some valuable pieces to the A&M football puzzle coming from the portal. And especially, this year you look at the top draft picks there, Casey and Cassius, man. Absolutely. But you the high school ranks are still incredibly valuable, and that some of the shine may have come off a little bit, but when it comes to building a team, I still place a whole lot of value on what happens in the high school ranks and in the high school recruiting level.
Jason, great stuff, man. Thank you very much.
Always. Appreciate you.
See you, buddy. Jason Howell, recruiting country there on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Appreciate the text messages we've been getting there as well. Thank you very much. That is the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line. We'll hit a break. We'll come back and we'll talk to Patric Young, former Florida basketball player, SEC Network, break down the Aggies and Alabama tonight and the rest of the SEC. Right now, Milliken Reserve farm-to-table community in College Station, homes, trails, farms, wide open spaces. They have a mission to build a healthy community around nature. They have awesome neighborhoods there. If you're looking for a place, that is the place to start looking. Neighborhoods at Milliken Reserve are nothing like your typical subdivisions. They're based entirely in that Brazos Valley landscape and heritage, closely linked with land with deep Texas roots. There's no place like Milliken Reserve. You've got the creek there, homes on 10-plus acre wooded estates. You've got the hollow in a private and gated community, and you have the meadows that are responsive to that natural surrounding. Remember, Milliken Reserve is rooted in that Texas soil, and if it sounds like a place for you, you need to check it out. MillikenReserve.com is the website, MillikenReserve.com. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Buffy's Catering Bartending Hotline. Patric Young, SEC Network, former Florida great, joining us here to chit-chat all things SEC and, of course, A&M and Alabama tonight. What's up, Patrick? How you been, bud?
What's happening? How you guys doing?
Great, man. Thanks for making a few minutes for us. So let's talk about this test tonight for A&M, going on the road to Bama, a team that has seen vulnerable but still elite talent. Your thoughts just heading into this one?
Yeah, the big question, who does this game mean more for? And obviously Alabama comes into this season with expectations of being a tournament team, top 25, and they haven't lived up to that. They still do have the roster construction to have it. And then you got A&M, and Coach McMillan implements a completely new regime, completely new team, and is made his impact and his mark into college basketball with his style of play. And yet they're still not getting the respect I believe they deserve. They don't have a quote unquote superstar, type player, but the way that this team plays, this is a team game of basketball. It's so complimentary. So it's going to be a test for sure. Bama coming off of a bludgeoning from the University of Florida on Sunday. A&M having an opportunity to, solidify their lead in first place. It's going to be a tough one. I say this, both of these teams shoot over 33 the game. Like, be ready for a track meet. I mean, seriously, this game is going to go up and down nonstop. I'm not sure how well Alabama is going to handle the full court press from A&M. But then, on the front court side, I think the front court, there might be an advantage with Charles Bediako at Bama. But we'll see, man. It's going to come down to just who makes the most winning plays and who can take care of the basketball. If both of these things, whoever has the most turnovers in this game is going to be the loser.
Patrick, it's weird how, as the season develops, not only your expectations change, but what you consider success. There was a time that, my co-host and I were talking about 17 wins would be a great start for Bucky with a brand new roster. They're at 17 wins. They're leading the SEC. I don't know how realistic it is for them to continue to do so. So it is a successful season, but now that they've tasted success, we want more.
I think so, man. My only worry for this team, because it sounds as though after interviewing Rashawn Aggie twice, that these guys really get after it in practice. So I wonder if it's going to wear them down at the end of the season. But, you guys play, A&M plays 11, 12 guys. Like, Coach McMillan is not afraid of doing a full line change when he sees the guys out there aren't doing their job. So, I still think they haven't reached their ceiling. Again, going back to Rashawn Aggie, I didn't know he could shoot it so well. They just run really great sets and stuff, man. And you can tell these guys, they get it, man. They play for each other. And I just think it's so impressive what McMillan has done this year, because you would think one of the hardest things is new coach at a new school with an entirely new roster to get everyone to buy in to your system. But no, he has gotten the right guys. I just think, next season, you add a little more talent to this A&M team. You got one or two guys that are kind of game breakers that, you just a 6'8" guy that can just handle it well, like Jalen Swain at Texas. Goodness gracious, A&M is going to be here to stay.
Patrick, what do you think about this whole Bediako situation and G League players being able to play in college basketball after playing in the G League? And I know there's an argument about, well, European players are allowed to play. What do you think about everything happening right now?
They're both wrong. It's idiotic. I think both scenarios. Not wanting to bring guys like, high school players are now being affected on both ends of guys are now coming from declaring to be professionals coming back to college, and then the transfer portal. Because, I get it. If you're a coach, why am I going to, unless you're getting a top 25 5-star recruit, maybe the high level 4-star recruit, why would I waste my, I hate to say waste my time. Why would I waste my time to have to develop a guy when I can grab someone who's already played college basketball for a year or two and they can impact right now? Instead of me worrying about potential, I'm worried about impact. And it's just difficult, man, because, my big thing, like with Alabama too, in the Bediako situation, if you believe you're the University of Alabama, like, do you want to be the one to push the envelope? I just think it's below the program to do that. The president, the athletic director, Nate Oates, no one is like, you know what, guys, just because we can do this, I don't think we should. Just like what precedent does it set? But, also this could be a catalyst to finally getting, because I think at the end of the day, as fans, like every single arena of the college sports, the players, the fans, the coaches, the front office, or the ADs, the boosters, they all want the same thing. They want each and every team to have an equal, like this, it's fair. Like, the entrance is, it's $10 to play, and it's $10 to play for everybody. And all of the rules are the same, and everybody has to abide by them. That's what we're looking for. And this could be hopefully a catalyst towards that, because right now it's like, hey, let's find these loopholes because the NCAA can't enforce anything.
Patrick, do you think that Alabama may have to potentially forfeit some of these games that Bediako's played in if, the ruling on Friday kind of opens up those doors or that can of worms?
Well, it should. To the NCAA, he is not eligible. They say, no, he should not be out there playing. And obviously they have the ability to determine who goes into the tournament. So if the court ends up ruling in the favor of the NCAA, then yeah, I'm going to be like, we could have avoided all of this in the first place because we already told you he wasn't eligible. He wasn't. And you went on and did this anyway and sidestepped our process. And we're going to, those games, we're not going to count those wins or losses, those wins towards your March Madness. But, Alabama's already got a good enough record to get in. But just think, I don't know, man. Like, if he plays the whole season and the judge rules yes, if I'm the NCAA, I'm still thinking some kind of way that this is wrong.
Talking to Patric Young here on TexAgs Live. All right, what about Florida? And A&M's going to face them here real soon. It feels like they're back to doing what we expected them to do. I know there was a little bit of a bump in the middle of the season or the early part of the season. What do you think about the way your former team is playing?
Man, they're looking good, man. It seems as though they've really kind of figured something out here in terms of just their strengths. Their strength in terms of the front court, finally just being consistent in that area. Alex Condon was the biggest question mark for me. Him being the preseason All-American, that, has he lived up to the expectations? And don't get me wrong, like when you're the preseason All-American and you got this target on your back, teams are going to double team you a lot and get at. But, he just seemed like he was struggling to figure out how to adjust to how teams have been playing him. And against Bama, I don't know if maybe it's just Bama. He always plays well against them. If him along with Rubin and Thomas Howell, that front court just continues to build, I don't think you need the guard play to be, Walter Clayton-esque. You just need them to be solid. You need them to not turn the ball over, and you need them to not to be liabilities on defense. And I think Florida has that. I don't think Davian Lee or Boogie Flan are liabilities on the defensive end. You just obviously want them to score and do a little bit more impacting on the offensive side. But, they're improving from where they were to where they are now.
Patrick, last thing for you. What about the cannibalization, of SEC teams against each other? We saw it in football. We're seeing it in basketball. How strong is the conference when it comes to getting to Selection Sunday and the fact that they're all beating up each other without yet a proven, elite, top-tier number one team? I'm still not convinced that Florida is that quite yet. I think they are one of the best, but I guess that's just the norm of having this cannibalization. You just hope that Kim Palm and those rankings don't miscalculate how they look at these teams' records. And the beautiful thing about it is, though, you get so many quad one opportunities within
the SEC. You know, there's always going to be pros and cons, but you know, those quad one wins, those will solidify you to get into the tournament. So, you know, A&M's got the opportunity tonight to add another one there, and you know, they go in there and they win tonight. You know, there's no question. Like Texas A&M is better than Miami of Ohio. Like, it's not even a question to me. But maybe they're just not getting the respect. You go to Tuscaloosa and you beat that talented Alabama team, you don't have anything to worry about.
That is Patric Young here on TexAgs Live. Patric, we appreciate your time, buddy. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
See you, Patric Young, there on the Bubby's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with the final segment here on the program. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance City. I found this interesting. I just read this a second ago on Twitter. This is the Illinois Fighting Illini men's basketball program uses this. And basically, they talk about creating, attacking, and maintaining advantages. One action into the next, spacing as a weapon, letting individual skills shine where there's a switch. And I think it just kind of sounds like what A&M basketball is doing, right? Like, the best offenses, it says here, don't run plays. They hunt advantages. And I feel like that's what A&M does. They hunt their advantage, and they know their advantage is their tenacity, their speed, their ability to press down the floor and hit shots. And they dictate the pace of a game with that hunting mentality. And I think that's why they've been so successful this season. All right, we finished things off at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Kelly, you've got on TexAgs today.
I do have on TexAgs today, and just as a reminder, it pays to be a TexAgs Premium member. You can catch all the buzz around your favorite topics, from recruiting to roster breakdowns to Aggies in the NFL. You can get it all with a TexAgs Premium account. So today on TexAgs, our basketball guy Luke Evangelist is breaking down the keys to tonight's game against Alabama. Tom Schuberth, who was on the show earlier, wrote his scouting report for tonight's game. And we have Bronny, who wrote up some baseball preseason camp notes for our baseball lovers out there. And then coming up today, our final story of the softball preview series is being published. So look out for that story later today.
Yep, great stuff there. You've done great work, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, so tomorrow, the plan is, I'm working on a couple things that I won't necessarily say what they are today, but I got a couple things I'm working on for tomorrow. So we'll see how that plays out. But I do know that our buddy Logan Lee will join us in the aftermath of the Alabama game and then looking ahead to the Florida matchup. AT will talk about everything random as possible. And the Fan Show guys. That's right. The Fan Show guys will be in here. There's nothing I can do about it. It's sponsored. They got to come in. I've tried many, many times going to management saying no more. I'm kidding. I love the Fan Show guys. And of course, Stephen McGee should join us in the 8 o'clock hour. Tonight, like, I don't want to read too much into what one game or one stretch of games can mean. I still think the same thing I said a week ago about heading into this stretch. If things don't go great for A&M, it doesn't tell you that much. It tells you a little bit, not that much. If things go great, I think it does tell you that much. This is a week where A&M can either, change the balance of power in the SEC, right? That's certainly possible with these two matchups. Or come back to reality and having to be the hunters, to use a term that I used a little while ago, the rest of the way. Tonight's a big matchup. I think this is a game that they can win. It's going to be very difficult. Winning on the road in the SEC is always hard. Going against a team that plays your style of basketball is always hard. A team that shoots just as many threes or more than you and makes more than you, that's all going to be very difficult. But one thing we know about this team, they will try to dictate the pace of the tempo. And if you are not offensively ready for their defense and you turn the ball over, A&M will make you pay. All right, that's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Wednesday. My thanks to all of our great guests, from Patric Young to Jason Howell to John Harris to Trisha Ford, and of course, Olin Buchanan and Tom Schuberth. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you so much to everybody watching and listening. We will see you all mañana.